So let's actually start this. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this virtual discussion on RRR for publishers. The three R's that we're going to be talking about are relationship, relevance, and reliability in the publisher world, and how who you partner with matters. So basically, our discussion will focus on the journey to finding the right beam, like in the movie, to your ram, which in our case is the publisher's business. My name is Bhumi Wadhwa, and I handle publisher partnerships at Taboola. I will be your host for this session today. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for being present here today for this webinar. And I want to give a big shout out to our panelists. We're very grateful for the ongoing and long-term partnership you have with us and for entrusting us to support your growth. To start out with, I would like to give an introduction of our esteemed set of panelists and our Taboola leadership. I have with me Indraneel Roy, the CEO of Outlook Group, Masood Hussain, the Digital Sales Manager for Telangana Today, and Hemant Chandiramani, the Business Head for Marketing and Operations from She the People. Welcome, panelists.
Thank you.
And thank you again. You're most welcome, and thank you again for being here. We also have with us Bharat Arora, Country Manager of Taboola India. Bharat has been with Taboola for nearly 3 years now. Welcome, Bharat.
Thank you, Bhumi. Thank you so much.
So the theme of this webinar has been inspired by the movie RRR. Now, for those of you who have watched the movie, you know exactly what these three R's stand for. But we're here to talk about them in regard to the publisher world. So we're going to be focusing on how the relationship that is built with a reliable partner actually helps you to stay more relevant, and how these key traits, the three R's, are significant in choosing the right content recommendation platform to work with. Now, before I begin our discussion with our panelists, I want to actually hand it over to Bharat to give an introduction about Taboola. Over to you, Bharat.
Thank you, Bhumi. In fact, I think it's a great, I think the theme's RRR. I actually wanted to dress up as a South Indian actor, but of course I can't afford to have so much of action. I think I love that great movie. Thank you for bringing us up here in the same panel. I think I'm obliged to speak in this forum, and also would like to thank you again to all panelists. It's so grateful for me to speak in among of yourself, to your industry leaders, and also Taboola welcomes you in this discussion. I also would like to welcome our attendees who are spending their valuable time to listening to all the industry leaders and to us. We'll make sure that we'll take a investment of your time in a good note. Let me tell you about Taboola. So it's been about 9 years journey that we have spent at Taboola in India as yet. Okay, I remember our office we have in Delhi with a small office. Now expanding to 110 people from being a startup to a publicly listed company in NASDAQ. It's been a journey. It's like a growth journey for us. Right now we have office in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. We are so proud to say that we are about 120 employees, from a business teams to professional services, to support teams that we sit in India, and just to make sure that we're able to, stand with our partners, also to give success to our advertisers. So both the pillars are important for us. We're making sure that we are in market, in front of them, and so that we can bring their businesses up. And of course, we do a win-win situation there. Before I tell about more about Taboola, what we do, I actually remember a statement which is given by MS Dhoni, which is, of course, ex-Indian captain. So he always said that for me, it's important to build a good partnership rather than scoring centuries. Okay. Once you have those partnerships, your centuries come along automatically. Okay. So we at Taboola believe exactly the same. For us, it is very, very important to empower our open web and our publisher so that we are able to do that collaboration together, to that partnership together, to grow our businesses. Just make sure that we support for open web and we build businesses likewise. Actually, Taboola has been a household name right now in Taboola. So trust is one of the important factors, like a keyword for us that we always believe in the market, where whosoever we work with, either publisher side or advertiser side, we make sure we win their trust. We understand their businesses, we understand the KPIs, we understand we work for their businesses, and make sure we're able to do this long-term partnership. So if you look at India market, we have few partnerships, from our esteemed publishers like ABPs, Indian Express, India Today, I mean, these are 5 years plus. We also have 10 years partnership, who look at is such a dynamic world right now, who will do a 10 years partnership. So that means this shows how, in terms of the trust, in terms of how we stand with our publisher, and we know each other businesses very, very closely. And this is how collaboration work. And this is one of the examples that we are actually setting for the world, not for India itself. So that is the direction that we are looking forward to, for digital to work towards much more collaborative or long-term perspective. Coming about Taboola, so we are actually more of a local company. People think, of course, we are a global and we have offices across. We have so much of globalization across. We are, as we said, listed in NASDAQ, but we're actually local because we work with all vernacular publishers, correct? We don't work with not only one or two publishers, but we are so proud to have publishers like yourself. Publisher have different languages that work with us, and we make sure, we stitch everything from giving any kind of services likewise. Okay, just to give other perspective from advertiser side, we have an amazing media team. Just to make sure that we have a diverse portfolio of clientele across various regions. So we have, as we have already shared about, we have 3 hubs, North, West, and South. We're making sure we're able to give proximities, advantages, and service layers to our publisher partners and advertisers likewise. So basically, we actually have, just to give you perspective, 3 bold pillars that we work right now, what make us successful in the market. The first pillar is we always believe in is dare to dream. Okay. If you work at, for Taboola, it is very, very important that we look at the dream big. We look at how so that we can able to action likewise. We actually have to showcase the industry in such a way that we're able to escalate, double down ourselves, build not only ecosystem for content recommendation platforms, but to make sure that we build ecosystem for entire digital, fraternity, so that we're able to bring this up. So for us, it is very important to dare the big. If you look at from our perspective, we've always been looked at as a performance platform. Look at the transition now that we have changed it to a full funnel marketing solution platform for all advertisers. So that's a very, very important transition. So we are investing just to make sure that we are establishing, as we speak, emerging as a third pillar for advertisers after search and social platforms. I'm sure you know the platforms, but Taboola is emerging at that set of level that we're able to give that kind of support and able to give the strong pillar for our advertisers so that they are more successful in the market. The second important strong pillar that we work is we invest in people and their well-being. It is very, very important. We believe at Taboola that each employee or each people we talk to, we take care of them. We take care of their mental well-beings, their physical well-beings, and give them, so because it's the biggest asset for us. We have various avenues, various ways and means just to make sure that we invest in them and stand with them in thick and thin. Not only them, we also believe looking at building a community more than a family, and so that we can support their families, able to give them much more legs and means so that they can expose themselves and do wonders in the market at Taboola as well, of course. And the third strong pillar, which is last but not the least, is our leadership team. We believe that leadership makes all the difference, correct? So the kind of leadership, the strong visibility that we have, the kind of attitude that we are, the leaders that we have, if you look at APAC leadership team, or if you look at our global leadership team, they are, in terms of the best thing I love about Taboola is transparency. So the way we work with employees, the way we work with the customer, the way we work with our partners, everything is just so transparent. So that's one of the keywords that we always make sure, and that is given to us by our leadership team. And the second thing that I love about Taboola, which I would like to share in this panel or with the people who have attended this, is about flow of communication. It is very, very important for us, for our leaders to listen what people are saying, because listening is a very, very good skill, and I appreciate Taboola leadership to doing this. So, and also give us, so we have a lot of forums like we do, global all hands, we do India all hands, just to make sure that leaders also speak to people everywhere, so that the information can flow across both the regions. So that's the third pillar for us. I think before I hand it over to Bhumi to take the panel forward, and of course people must be waiting to hear from you. You actually have some good insight to share, because you are like leading the market from their perspective. There's a very, very famous quote by one of our guru, which I follow, is Sadhguru. He said, "Incredible things can be done simply if you're committed to make it happen. So this is what we believe at Taboola, that let's make it happen. All of us together, partners like yourself, come together and build a situation which is like win-win for us. So I think that is of me. Thank you for my time there. Bhumi, over to you. Spotlight on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat, for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Now we will be moving into the discussion with our panelists to learn from them about what is important to them as publishers, what has made them successful today, some tips that they would be open to sharing, and much more. I hope our viewers find this session to be as interesting as much as we are going to enjoy this discussion. Now, before we actually start, I would like to let everyone know that you can feel free to drop in any questions you want our publishers to address in the Q&A box. We will be getting to them at the end of the panel discussion. We will also try our best to actually address all the questions as time permits. In case, however, we do miss out on your question, feel free to reach out to me post the webinar by email. So to begin with, my first question is to Indraneel. Could you please share with our audiences, for Outlook Group, what do you think are the main factors that actually impact your business or your overall decision-making while running a web-based business?
Thank you, Bhumi. Thank you for inviting me to this. See, we have a very fundamental approach as Outlook Magazine and then now on the web. We believe that content is the most important play. In a digital world where there is so much of a rush to publish any news, any input that's coming in as quickly as fast as one could, in Outlook, we have taken a completely different approach. And what we said is that we are not going to rush into publishing any news or any information or any investigative information that we have gathered by ourselves. What we rather do is we do deep dive into it, create a proper narrative around it, create a structure around it, and then we publish. We do not care whether we publish within the first minute or within the first hour or within the first day. And that's something which is how we are building up our content narrative. It really helps to sort of then establish a strong bond with readers who are engaging more with us. So that's another very important point for us, is where we want readers to engage more with us. So therefore, what's very important for us is the time spent. How much of a time is the reader spending with us? How much of engagement is he delivering to us? What are the kind of loyalty that we are developing with our readers? And that is the funnel that we are using to sort of build up our narrative on content. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Indraneel. I definitely agree with you. I think, good quality content actually translates into loyal users that are coming back to your website and, reading it again and again, are actually enjoying your content. Now, I actually want to ask you, Masood, what do you think? Do the same factors actually hold the same importance to you, good quality content? And perhaps you can also share with us, what impact could probably lowbrow content have on your site in the long run as well as in the short run?
Yeah, actually, I am completely agree with Roy also. This is the first point. And second, I want to discuss the main thing and revenue source and traffic source also. Yeah, first of all, I'm thankful to Taboola. They create the separate platform to revenue generation and traffic creation. So first point I want to discuss, that is we are actually publishers. So we are traffic and for different platforms like Facebook and Google and Twitter, Insta, and the different platforms there. So completely we are not depending on the one source. So you people also help to they're joining us. And next point, the Roy has told me the content. The content is always king for any publisher, and we can generate the very genuine content, and will provide the good content and just for positive information to our audience and audience engagement. That's it.
I think that really makes sense, Masood, because having, a diversification of revenue sources as well as the traffic sources really, right, I think helps to, overall ensure that your website or your platform is performing well. Now, I
Right.
actually want to ask you, Hemant, what is your take on this? Do you think ad content quality, as well as having these diverse streams of revenue, as well as diverse traffic sources, are the factors that are important to you for your business?
I totally agree with my co-panelist. But before I start with explaining as to what factors actually work, I just want to share a little bit for understanding of the audience who do not know about She the People is. She the People is the biggest platform for women in India. Okay, so monthly we have around 20 million eyeballs. We have millions of followers on social media. So by saying this, you can understand that we want to create an impact and at the same time, tell great stories. But for long-term success, actually, we have to look at, building new revenue streams, as they already mentioned, strong audience development and strong reader engagement also. See, if you ask me, there is no one set of, say, a playbook or something that, people can just, like install and, you can just have great revenues, get traffic. This is all like a day-to-day challenge that people have to go through. Okay, so in terms of technology, I would say, if you look at the website, also invest a lot of time in technologies. With technology, I mean, see, when a user is coming on a website, you can look at newsletters, you can look at web push notifications. In terms of Google, look at your search console, look at your structured data, look at your on-page SEO. If your pages are indexing on time, get all your technologies fixed. In terms, along with the content is the most important thing. Along with that, we also need our technologies. Along with that, another important thing that comes to my mind is actually the recirculation strategy. How do we increase the time spent by users? So that is a recirculation strategy. For that, actually, when we initially spoke about Tabula Feed, I believe Tabula Feed actually helps, publishers in that matter, because in the feed, we can see a lot of our editorial content, that people can then click and go back to our page. So along with that, also make sure that your page has a good experience in terms of mobile, in terms of page load speeds and everything. Along with that, always give your audience something through which they can engage. Probably they can comment on your platform, they can share something, they can share a story. So to keeping them engaged, you need to give them an opportunity to share something on your platform to keep them engaged. So according to me, these are some of the factors. Along with that, there is one more very important factor for a channel success, that is your social media strategy. Okay, so people who know about She the People, also on social media, we have 3 million, but we have slowly built that from 0 to 3 million. That actually builds trust in terms of the audience. So when the audience come to our website, they see our article on Google Discover, they actually come and they want to read it. So that is a trust what social media builds in acquiring your particular audience. So
I completely agree with you, Hemant. The factors that you mentioned, whether it is, increasing your revenue, whether it is increasing your audiences and their engagement on the site, and overall increasing your session time per user, right?
Correct.
I feel like all these factors are actually equally important. And it's very important to also strike the right balance between them, because you're constantly sometimes only focusing on revenue, or sometimes you're only focusing on engagement. So that's what. This actually brings me to, a sort of my next question. So Masood, I wanted to ask you, could you actually please share with us, some of the challenges that perhaps impact you on a day-to-day basis at Telangana today?
Yes, Bhumi, just we have not only for me, any publisher facing the same problem. I think is a unique problem. This is the developers and marketing team. I think the technical team and marketing team and just for content team. Actually, three people are competent internally in any publisher. So first, every version is correct, but God grace, we have good SEO team and in-house team, every in-house team. So internally we support to each other and we'll build the relation and we'll work together. And next what is the external challenges is there. So we are the publisher, so we are getting the revenue source of different modules. So we'll comes the revenue. Sorry, I'm discussing our topic. So that's it, Bhumi. That is sorry.
No problem, Masood. I feel like honestly, your first pointer, where you mentioned your marketing team as well as your editorial team. I feel like there's a constant battle now with all my conversations.
That is a unique problem actually. Every publication, before I'm working with very top 1 or 2 publications. So that is also same reason. We are clash the differences. Technical point is the one, and revenue point is then sales team is asking different. So it is very tough job to handle, and we'll take them all from to one. That's it, Bhumi.
Okay, Hemant, do you face the same challenges at She the People, where there's constant battle between your revenue team and perhaps your editorial team?
Exactly, that is a very big challenge we face. But it's also, we are lucky to have a very good editorial team. Shaili, our company founder, along with some of our senior editors, they have a vast experience in publishing, and they are able to balance between what are our editorial articles and what are revenue articles. See, because editorial articles are the articles that will build trust in the market. That is what She the People stands for. That's what people come, and actually that is the core value proposition what She the People offers to its readers. But not all sources people say come to read those articles. People come to read something more casual and everything. So it's very important, to have a balance between the articles you do in terms of revenue and also in terms of the platform. One more important thing was, for a publisher on a day-to-day basis for us is generating traffic. It's not like a one-time exercise that you do and you keep on generating traffic. It does not happen. On a day-to-day basis, we want to be the first one to that trending. We want the article to rank number 1 on Google News, our article to show up. We want some celebrity to take our article and, share it on social media. To give you one of a recent example, when this Lalit Modi and Sushmita Sen, the entire controversy broke up, we wrote an article, and Sushmita Sen took She the People article and she posted on her Twitter. You can see it on Twitter. The traffic just bursted out of that article. So we want that to happen every day, but it doesn't happen. That is not a fact. So it sometimes happens. But, we give a constant efforts on a day-to-day basis, looking at the topics, looking at what content actually worked in the previous week, what worked yesterday, what we can do more in terms of in those articles. That is that. One more challenge, I feel is, see, getting more page views does not mean more revenue. At Taboola also, that. See, it also depends on the quality of audience, how engaged that audience is, and from where the audience is coming. You can see international audience that's coming from US and other countries, they have a very high RPM. So that is an advantage for a lot of publishers. But
Hemant, I actually want you to mention what RPM means, because maybe some of our viewers are not sure about this.
Revenue per 1,000 impressions. Okay, so those are in depth. We can explain in later what in depth RPM is, but it actually means the revenue we earn per 1,000 impressions of the banners. So RPM that comes from, say, international countries much higher. So we have been trying to get a strategy in when articles are read by read and liked by the audience internationally. It's happening slowly. Bhumi, we have also discussed it, and it's happening slowly, and we can see the impact that's happening. But it's like a constant work that has to go on. Okay, and along with that, another challenge that we face is the SEO and the Google algorithm changes that happen on a day-to-day basis. Something on the website, say, misfired in terms of JavaScript or something. So we might lose the ranking on those pages. Some embeds we do in that. So this is a constant thing. So we have to constantly keep on checking our website, technology. I always stress on technology part, because that I have a lot of focus in terms of technology for the platform. I want my platform technology to be top notch and user experience to be very good. So I always look at that factor along with content as well. So these are some of the challenges.
For sure, Hemant. I think it is constant work. And for a
Yes.
publisher, this work does not end at just content. It's engagement, it's SEO, it's marketing, it's everything all put together. Indranil, what do you think? What is your take on this? Are you facing also the same challenges at Outlook?
Yeah, so very interesting. See, we are a magazine organization. So therefore, as a magazine organization, what happens is that, you think weekly, or you think monthly, or you think fortnightly. You don't think daily, right? So that is where we started. And about a year back, we started reorganizing ourselves. That is where we started. Then, it is still taking us a lot of time to actually build that narrative within the organization to tell our journalists who are very senior in terms of their journalistic caliber and in terms of their number of years at work, etc. So first and foremost, to build that narrative with them takes a lot of time to say that, listen, I mean, you guys need to understand that the digital world operates differently. As what Hemant mentioned, that saying, you need to look into technology, you need to look into numbers, you need to look into your marketing, you need to look into SEO, you need to look into so many things. And they sort of look at it from a different perspective. They say, no, you can't touch my headline. My headline reads the way I write it. So these are typical contradictions which keeps happening. But I think they have also understood one important point, that distribution of their content that they write for the magazine actually happens online. So so more and more of their friends, their peers sort of get to see or read their content when they sort of see it on Twitter, or they see it on any other social platform, or for that matter, even when they are sort of sharing their content on WhatsApp. So that's how basically sort of, they get their discovery improves. Once their discovery improves, when they know that there's so many people are reading their story, so many of their friends telling them that, I read your story, etc., etc. That's what excites them, and that's what sort of, brings them back to the digital platform and sort of, build on it. Now, here I play a very important role. As the CEO of the organization, my role is to also ensure that everybody is putting in their 100%. And I know there are gaps. I understand there will be gaps. You can't match everything overnight. Okay, but the point is that to build a digital narrative for the organization, it is some years to go or some time to go. So therefore, it's a process, and I totally sort of buy in the argument of saying that there will be resistance, and there has to be some kind of relationship building that you have to do with edit and marketing and whoever are the other stakeholders to sort of build up that there has to be one objective, and that one objective is deliver good quality content on time and ensure that they are sort of picked up by the right engagement, etc., etc. So that's one part of it. The second part of the problem that you mentioned about is that this Google algorithms that we are married to. Now, see, it actually disturbs our entire business model. So suddenly you think about a particular way that you're leading your business, and that you do certain projections, right? We all are in the business of making projections, and thereafter sort of build our revenue models, etc., etc. And suddenly one fine morning you realize that it's going all negative. Now that's very, very, very damaging to me, and that's very scary to me, honestly. And that's something which I don't know what's the solution. I have picked up this topic with many other forums. We have many other forums as well. But nobody has an answer to this, because nobody has an answer to sort of, what Google has to do and what Google will do. So by and large, yeah, these are typical challenges that we all face at different levels. And I think we all need to therefore understand one simple thing: build products around it. Do not depend on one stream of revenue. Do not depend on one product. So there has to be multiple products. Hopefully multiple products will have different ways of attending to challenges. So yeah, I think all of us know it, but it's a question of how to do it and when to do it and what to do. I think that's it for me. Thank you, Bhumi.
You're definitely right, Indranil. I must say, honestly, with all the conversations I've had with publishers, they keep telling me that, we're facing these issues and there's no way out of it. There's no one solution to take. And everything, there are times, all these objectives are addressed at one point, and we have to just, figure it out how to actually go ahead and, travel this journey to make sure we're still getting success. So thank you again for sharing those factors and those challenges with us. I think these really impact your business day to day. Now I actually want to get into some survival tips or practices that you as publishers follow. So Hemant, I actually want to ask you, what factors do you think publishers should actually consider when choosing a content recommendation platform?
See, I would first say is user experience, because as I said earlier, user experience matters a lot for me while I'm making decisions for the platform in terms of technology. User experience, it helps your audience to stay for more time on your platform, read articles well and everything. So user experience, definitely. There are other secondary measures as well. For that, we look at, say, how good are the publisher platform in hand holding. Do they have an account manager that is going to help us in installation and help us with our objectives and what we are actually planning. And another thing is how big their network is. How many other publishers similar to me are actually using that network? What is the use case scenario? What are some of the examples? So according to me, I think these are three main key factors that I would actually look at in a partner.
Thank you for sharing that, Hemant. Masood, like Hemant mentioned, account management, which I've heard from a lot of publishers, that account management is a factor that actually affects their decision on which partner to opt for, as well as, perhaps like the way the other publishers who are also using that same partner. Are these same factors important to you as well while choosing a content recommendation platform?
Yes, Bhumi, thank you. And first of all, I appreciate you. Actually, you people only provide the at present market after the COVID, the complete account manager to us. You remember, Bhumi, that's newly I'm joining in this company. That time we have long discussions. And that time just I'm planning for only limited cards, only 10 cards we are first we are implemented. That time your team supporting is very well, and step by step your guidance is performing is very good. And that time will slowly we actually what happened, my page content is very low actually. That time we are uploading very small contents and so on. That you people guide me the how to increase the content and how can we engage the pages and page lengths. And after we'll implement the unlimited scroll and we're getting good CTR, the 9.96% CTR, we are getting the very huge number of my personal experience to work to you. That's it, Boom.
I am honestly very glad to hear that, Masood, that you actually feel that Taboola is able to extend that right support in terms of our account management as well, because we always want to be here as an extension of your team, not just, a provider of ad content for you. What about you, Indraneel? Is this, is, for example, account management one of the key factors that you consider? Or what are the other factors that perhaps you look at when choosing a partner? And perhaps you must have thought about these factors, even while choosing Taboola.
Yeah, account manager, definitely yes, because I have my personal experience with Taboola has also been very good. I mean, you raise a question and within few hours you get a reply, not minutes. I mean, it's as quick as that. So that's definitely there. The other point that I wanted to also mention here is that, I would also like to look at who are the other partners that you're working with. So that's a very important point for me, because that gives me some kind of self-confidence, right? And the third point definitely is the fact is that, the terms and conditions. The terms and conditions are very important. So that, the point is that, you can do a tie-up, you can do multiple tie-ups, you can be sort of, told certain things and not delivered. So I don't have any issues with Taboola, and that's how I mean, if you really look at our relationship, it's only building from good to better, and I hopefully it will be lots of money that you will be sort of streaming on us. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy with what we are in and how we are engaging, and no complaints. Thank you.
Of course, and I'm hoping, Indraneel, that your performance grows as much, more, of course, in the future. And the same applies to you, Hemant, for She the People, and for Telangana Today, Masood. So thank you, Indraneel. I appreciate that, I do see publishers looking at the landscape of Taboola in India, for example, which other publishers we're also working with today. And this really helps to bring the credibility of the partner that is going to be coming on board, as well as helping your growth. Now, I want to ask you, Hemant, now, if I was a new publisher that has just started out my website, what is perhaps one pro tip you would actually give me or newer publishers on how they're able to sustain traffic?
See, I would say first thing, think about your users, think what your content is, and think what you stand for as a platform. What are you out there to provide to the particular users? See, along with that, I would also say look at acquisition in terms of, say, from which platform you can acquire users. To give a clear example, see, WhatsApp as a platform. Okay, I don't think a lot of people would have thought that WhatsApp is a platform from where publishers can get traffic and people want to read articles. We think WhatsApp is a platform people just want to chat and interact with each other. But when we started sending links on WhatsApp to our users, they actually came on our website and started reading. So see, WhatsApp works for us, not necessarily it works for some other publisher. It might not work. So based on your particular audience, on your content, try and experiment new sources. There's Flipboard, there's GeoNews, there is Daily Hunt. So many aggregators are there. Explore them. See from where your particular traffic is coming from. Where are you actually increasing your traffic? Then another important point is, see, from whichever platform the traffic comes, all of them, you have to optimize your content based on your source. Like if your traffic is coming from Google, so optimize your day-to-day content. It's not necessary to write 200 articles or 500 articles to get that much traffic. If you're writing small, if you have a small number of articles, try to divide your articles based on sources and then try to slowly increase the number of articles. See how your audience is, responding towards your content. If you're writing 10 articles for Facebook, see how much traffic is coming in. Then slowly try to increase the number of articles in that particular source and see how the audience is responding and then take a decision. Do not go with the decision like, I need to write 200 articles, then I will get X number of traffic. That does not happen. Slowly, it's a process. You have to, slowly over the months, over the years, you learn and you perfect. So take your time. And another important thing is be well aware about what is happening online in terms of platforms, in terms of technology. Always be there. That is a very big tip. And look at whatever is happening online.
Thank you, Hemant. I think those tips are very useful. And these should definitely be followed by newer publishers. Indranil, what is one piece of advice you perhaps would want to give?
So I agree with Hemant what he said. So I don't want to add too many things to it. Just my point is very simple. I think I have learned it in Outlook as well. That focus on quality, and quality. So that's the new mantra. I think it's coming in online, and that's the mantra that we will all be able to sort of build as we go along, because that's where subscriptions will also work at. Right? Finally, we will all want subscription revenues to come to our channel. So therefore, if we do not follow in quality, we are not going to get subscribers. So that's what basically we will have to focus at. And that's, I think, is going to be the, not very long, but I would say a short, long kind of scope of opportunity that's coming our way.
Thank you, Indranil. I definitely think content quality is the way to go forward. Masood, do you want to add a point here? Perhaps a tip you want to share?
No, Deshwar, I will 100% agree with my partners. So first, I want to tell you one thing. Just for if you publish the genuine and discover content, obviously your site will be ranked automatically. So every new publisher want to focus only on content, the good content, and as well as the technical aspect also is a good SEO team also, and with their focus on technically don't get any issues. So if the better to new publishers. That's it.
Thank you for sharing those tips. I'm quite sure that, our newer publishers out there would definitely benefit from this advice and also begin applying it to their own platforms. So now I also want to mention that all three of you have actually been in long-term partnerships with Taboola. Indranil, how has your experience been so far in working with us?
It's been very nice. I mean, no complaints at all. So I think from where we started, which was almost ground zero, from where to where we have come, which is really, really nice. And I think what really happened was that, we heard you you heard us. And I think that's what basically was how we built on the relationship. And when I say that we heard you, because your recommendations were coming in and you said that do X, Y, Z, and that's how you will be able to build your revenues. And we heard you and we sort of, implemented most of it. And you also heard us to sort of ensure that, where we said that, why don't you increase our visibility? Why don't you share more, etc. And that's how I think you guys also gave it a push, and subsequently both of it really worked well. And I am only hoping that we finally get $1 million and $1 billion check from you every month.
I hope so, Indranil. I hope so too. For sure. And I think it really goes to say, I'm very glad that, the open communication between between both the parties is what actually drives success. And I think it makes us collaborate better and work better also.
Sure.
Hemant, you have also been in an ongoing partnership with Taboola. So I want to ask you, why do you think it's perhaps better to opt for a long-term partnership with a trustable partner?
See, we are much in a very early stage as of now, and the experience has been very good. Okay, and we have also been very, there has been very good communication and everything with Tabula. And obviously, see, I believe when there's a platform like Tabula, which is constantly investing a lot in their technologies, okay, in terms of growing the business, you also have a direct sales team that leads to a lot of clients and everything. So Tabula is also putting in efforts, okay, for that particular platform, their recommendation engine and their platform. So we also want to build a long-term relationship, okay, with Tabula itself, so that we can also see growth in our near future. That's what my thought would be.
Thank you, Hemant. I do agree with you. And I feel like it contributes to a lot of other things as well. Perhaps, saving the opportunity cost of even, moving to another partner,
Correct.
Saving time, effort, etc. as well, right? Masood, I want to ask you. So you have been in a long-term partnership with Taboola, and you've been working with us before that as well, right? How do you think we're different? And how do you think perhaps this trait has helped your business?
It's for me, before we started, Bharat told me you launched in India in 9 years back. So I am worked with you last 6 years. That is correct. Last 6 years, I'm continuing to work with you. Just for very few ad networks, I'm trusting you, and one of the top of you, Tabula people. And two things are very great. The first point is your script is a very light script, and with the not disturbing my website and not disturbing and my page speed and page loading time. That is a really appreciate. And second point is your revenue point. Just for you, your revenue is a very genuine, and every month in time we received your payments also. And one more thing, just for your your people is available for any issues. Just for I have any issues, and just I WhatsApp you, and just for I call you anytime, just for immediately respond and just for solve the issues. That's it for me.
Thank you, Masood. Thank you very much. Now, all three of your websites actually have different placements of Taboola implemented to serve different objectives, right?
Yes.
So, Indranil, I want to ask you, what is your favorite Taboola product and why?
So Tabula, what I really like about is the Tabula Feed. That's something which I think is what I would really sort of look at, and also Tabula News. I think that's something which helps us to keep getting a lot of stuff which we ourselves may not have published or may not be focusing at. So that sort of works well for us.
Thank you, Indranil. Yes, Taboola News is, one tool that we do offer to some publishers, and it definitely helps in increasing the overall traffic and audiences coming to your site.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Masood, what is perhaps, one product of Taboola that you really like?
Actually, I like both products. Booming is at present I'm using that. The right widget also is good, and second, unlimited feed also. The feed you promote my content also. that is a very great actually. We get the good page views from your platform. So I'm like the both the right widget and next feed, unlimited feed.
That's right. And you mentioned something about the feed in terms of organic CTR, right? Earlier, you
Yes,
were
yes.
saying something like that we're able to generate around 9% of organic CTR from the
9.96.
feed.
Yes, yes. Yes,
9.96. Okay.
96.
Okay. This is actually a very high number, I must
Yes,
say.
yes.
So I'm very glad to know that, we're able to drive
Thank you.
so
And
much recirculation.
thanks for Tabula people actually.
Thank you very much. And Hemant, is there one product that really stands out for you?
See, I would say read more and feed. They are my favorite products. Why? Because we have an infinite scroll. It helps in recirculation. Same reason what my co-panelists have already said. But I would say that the feed is a good product, and because it has a steady stream of steady stream of personalized content, what the users can, if they have just read the initial paragraph and after read more they want to explore something else, they as well has an option of going to the next article rather than reading the entire article. So that is a very important and a good feature, I believe, of Tabula.
Thank you, Hemant. I really appreciate your feedback on our products. Now, what I want to do is actually, I will give our audiences a glimpse of these products so they can see further as well what our panelists are talking about. But I want to thank our panelists here for sharing your perspective. I must say that your opinions really give us valuable insights today on what publishers view as opportunities and also challenges on their respective platforms. And I'm also very glad to learn that Taboola is able to extend that support as a reliable partner, such that we're working hand in hand with you to drive consistent success through all the ups and downs. Also, I think the information and advice you really shared goes to emphasize how a relationship that is built on the fundamentals of trust and reliability helps you to stay more relevant in the market and achieve consistent performance and results. Thus, of course, tying together, our 3 R's that are key in the publisher world. Now, before I actually move on to the questions that our viewers have sent in for our panelists, I want to briefly touch upon Taboola. And for those audiences who are new to what Taboola offers, I want to give them a glimpse of the placements that our panelists mentioned. So today, Taboola is actually the world's largest content recommendation platform. We are a public company with 22 offices globally, with over 1,700 employees. When working with publishers, we offer value to them in 3 main ways. We bring in incremental revenue, help them increase their user engagement, that is pages per session, and also acquire new audiences. And while doing this, we ensure that they're provided with dedicated account management support, top quality content, and 100% control over what appears on their site. Now, I'm just going to share my screen here to show you some of our top performing placements that our panelists actually mentioned, which help them in achieving their objectives. Give me just one moment here. Panelists, can you please confirm that you're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. So first here, you can see the Tibula Feed, which Indranil and Masood spoke about. And Hemant mentioned this as well. This is actually our best performing placement. It's developed to come right after a user has completed reading an article or finished reading the page's content and is interested in exploring the next thing. This is what we identify as a moment of next. And thus we place the feed right after the content. So it's extremely non-intrusive to your content. Now, there are 3 types of content that we actually display in this feed. There's sponsored content, which is ads, advertorials, blog posts. Then there is video content, so video advertisements. And finally, there's organic content, which is content from the publisher's side. By having organic content in the feed, Taboola helps publishers to circulate more of their own articles. Now, the Tibula Feed is known to actually bring a 40% uplift in the publisher's organic CTR compared to their own curated content. For example, Masood mentioned earlier, the 9.96% organic CTR that we are able to drive through the feed. Moreover, the content recommended to users in the feed is done on contextual and non-contextual parameters. Thus, the advertisements and articles they see will actually be based on what they're reading on the page, as well as what they're reading elsewhere. This helps to increase the session time per user. Now, this is where we have our other placement, which is the read more placement that Hemant actually mentioned. So what we do is with the read more placement, we implement a read more or show full article button at a point in the article where users tend to bounce out because of low attention spans. This placement is highly customizable in regards to the look and the position on the page. It folds the article and brings the Tibula feed higher up on the page, which actually provides a user a window of opportunity to engage either with your content or sponsored content. Either way, becoming a win for you. And then we have our third placement, which is explore more. This placement actually helps to re-engage users who are about to complete their session and bounce out of your website. So to flyby users who are basically coming to your website through social, like you can see here on the page where this user is clicking an article link on WhatsApp. Once this user actually is about to leave the page, Taboola exposes them to another page, which has additional content that consists of 90% of the publisher's content and just 10% of advertisements. This helps to increase the user's session time on site, while at the same time trying to generate more value from the user who's also leaving your site. Now, these are just 3 of our most popular placements, and we have many others that a publisher can choose from to opt for, of course, depending on their objectives. Our formats and experiences are all designed to power recommendations and drive results at key moments during your user journey on site. Now, Taboola also invests heavily in our research and development to constantly improve our technology and ensure that our offerings are performing more effectively. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to me on my email, which is bhumi.w@taboola.com. There will also be a follow-up email sent right after this webinar with more details. Now I'm actually going to open up the floor to questions submitted by our viewers. So I'm actually looking at our Q&A box. So panelists, I shall read these out to you and we can go through them one by one. So our first question is actually from Mr. Amit Kochar. So he's asking, this is actually addressed to our publishers. From a publisher perspective, do you see any shortcomings of Taboola? Hemant, can you actually give your opinion here?
See, as of now, as I said earlier, it's been a very initial stage for us that we have partnered in a few months. In these few months, I haven't seen any shortcomings as of now, to be frank. Actually, it hasn't happened. So there is nothing that I have experienced, but my other co-panelists have been associated for much longer time. And if they have something, they can share it across.
Indranil, would you want to add anything here?
No, not really. No.
Okay. Masood?
Please repeat the question, Bhumi, please.
So basically, our viewers are asking, now during your partnership with Taboola, have you seen any shortcomings? Any disadvantages, perhaps, of using us?
No, actually, no. No one can be any disadvantages. Just for when we started our meeting, I told you what is your experiences and what my personal experiences. And once again, I told you I'm working with lot of networks. In my digital experience, almost 8 years in the digital platform. So I'm very trustable network and very good and very supportive network for Taboola. That is now.
Thank you, Masood. Thank you. Now, another question that we actually have from our viewers is, the attention span of the reader is actually running away fast. So how do you strike a balance between long form content and short form content? We have actually gotten this question from Manoj from Rajasthan Patrika. So basically, I am happy to address this here. So Manoj, you did hear about our read more placement, right? In terms of what we do on site, where we're able to handle long form of contents as well as short form, where we basically fold the article. And we're simply doing this to help you drive further visibility, as well as we're able to help your audiences engage further with your content while driving higher revenues. Now, another question I have from our panelists or from our viewers is to our panelists again. What factors help you decide to sign a long-term agreement for 2 years? Indranil, would you like to share your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think one and foremost, I wanted to, my first reaction to while signing with Taboola was to see that who are the other publishers that they were engaged with. So if you see that credible publishers are engaged with Taboola, that gives you the assurance that I should also go ahead and do it. That's point number one. Point number two is that, Taboola is not harming my platform. And when I say not harming my platform, when I'm saying that it's not giving a very crude experience to my readers, and it's giving a seamless experience to my readers. It's giving in content which is also the part of the feed, which is including my content. So that helps me to sort of, further distribute my content. So looking at all of that together, I thought it was absolutely fair to sort of sign up with Taboola, because end of the day, it gives me more distribution, it gives me revenue, and it is all non-intrusive. So whatever is coming, what are the feeds that's coming is non-intrusive. So therefore, I did not really think anything beyond that when I sort of, reached out to you. I think the question is, was you signed up for 2 years? I don't see a problem. I mean, if you don't have a long-term vision to sign up with Taboola, or for that matter, any network, then you should not do it. As simple as that, because networks are not magicians that they will try and bring in your revenue as well as your traffic. So it takes time, right? To everything, it takes time. You have to be patient enough to sort of build it together. That's my argument here.
Thank you, Indranil. Hemant, is there anything you want to add here? Perhaps a factor that actually influenced you to go ahead and sign a partnership for 2 years with Taboola?
See, Indranil sir has actually explained it so well that there's actually nothing more to add to it. But it's like, as already said, Taboola does not harm your platform, and it is all about, getting more revenue benefits. So I would say, definitely we should engage in, all the publishers should engage in some kind of a partners, if not Taboola, someone else, whatever they feel right for their platform, but choose a right partner.
I see that we have one more question in our Q&A box. So the question is actually to Taboola. Does Taboola get a good US fill rate? So I will take this. Taboola is a global organization. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 22 offices globally with over 1,700 employees. Now, we actually have teams that are based regionally in the dominant markets, whether it is in the US or other regions. And we're able to bring in local demand as well as supply. So we serve actually over 1 trillion monthly recommendations, and we always fill 100% of your inventory. So you will actually not see any blank spaces. If you are a Taboola publisher, then basically your pages with ads and also your total page views will be approximately the same. So that actually was our last question that was put in. And I see there's actually, sorry, my bad. There's one more question that is added in that I would try my best to address here. Ijaz has actually asked us, can we control what type of ads that are shown by Taboola on our platforms? Can we actually control this? I'm happy to take this question as well. Yes, Ijaz, you are able to control 100% of the content that actually shows up in your placements. Taboola offers this to our publishers because we believe, of course, first, it is their platform. And this is doable through our backstage dashboard. So firstly, I want to mention that our ad quality is something that we place a lot of importance in. We screen each piece of content that is actually shown on your placements. We have a team that is actually based out of Israel that is a human content review team that screens this content, and we automatically block any content that is basically related to anything sexual, nudity, any unattractive looking advertisements. That's one thing. The second thing is, of course, you have your dashboard of backstage of Taboola. Now, through this dashboard, you can actually go ahead and block any piece of content that you want from appearing in the Taboola feed. While at the same time, the dashboard also gives you the ability to promote any piece of content that perhaps you think will bring in more engagement. Thus, you might see like a viral content that is getting a lot of traction on your website. You're able to promote this in the Taboola feed as well. So again, you have 100% control over this. And that actually concludes all the questions that were mentioned. So thank you again to our three panelists and to Bharat for joining us for this webinar. We really value your partnerships, and I genuinely appreciate the time that y'all have put together to attend this webinar. I also want to thank our audiences for being so engaged and submitting your questions. I'm sure this discussion was very insightful to all our users out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you,
sir.
for organizing this.
Thank you.
Thank you for panelists. Great discussing this with you.
Thank you, everyone.